With 2 DLC packs adding nearly 20 weapons to Battlefield 1 over the last year, and plenty of other melee weapons as well, I think it's safe to say that most people have tried all of them out and settled in with their favourite ones. Ones that suit your playstyle more than others, or ones that just look cool, or even ones that suck but are really satisfying to kill people with. But there are some weapons in Battlefield 1 that are rarer than others. Some of these you might know, but some of them, or at least a couple of them, you'll probably have never seen in the game at all. Let's check out the list of the top 10 rarest weapons in Battlefield 1. So, let's start off easy then. Some of the first ones on this list you could get for pre-ordering the Early Enlister Deluxe Edition of Battlefield 1. Now, not everyone will have this version of the game, and therefore won't have access to these weapons, and that makes them rarer than some of the normal weapons that everyone can unlock. First of all, we have the Hellfighter 1911 pistol at the number 10 spot, the Hellfighter Trench Shotgun at number 9, the Red Baron P08 pistol at number 8, and the Lawrence of Arabia SMLE rifle taking spot number 7. Now, none of these weapons differ from their standard counterparts in terms of statistics, but they have their own unique weapon skins, which instead of being displayed in the visual customization menu for that weapon, they're all entered as their own weapon into the game's database. The Hellfighter 1911 pistol has a bronze body instead of the grey metal used on the standard 1911, and is etched with the words Men of Bronze, 369th, and the Hellfighter insignia. The trench gun is again etched with some words, this time on the stock: Move forwards or die, France 1918, and again it uses that bronze metal finish. The Red Baron's P08 pistol is finished in a black metal with gold etchings, and it has a dark wood handle grip, and that makes it look way better than the standard P08 that's unlocked as a starter weapon in Battlefield 1. And lastly, we have the Lawrence of Arabia SMLE rifle. This one is rather ornate, and it's actually quite true to life. It's based off of this rifle here, the real rifle that Lawrence of Arabia actually used during the First World War, with etchings into the metal and carvings on the wood. It's probably also one of the best weapons to use from these four, as the SMLE is the most versatile rifle in Battlefield 1. Moving on now to some more uncommon sightings. I've got a set of 3 different melee weapons here that will likely not be in the inventory of most Battlefield 1 players. Spot number 6 is taken up by the Arditi Dagger. This is one of the few melee weapons to be released so far as a reward for completing a series of challenges in-game. These challenges were spaced out over the summer of 2017 as Battlefield 1 was gearing up to the release of its second major expansion pack in the name of the Tsar. If a player completed all 3 missions in the time allowed, the reward was this melee weapon right here, which can also be seen in the single player mission called Avanti Savoia, held by the Arditi soldier who storms the mountainside. The reason this weapon is quite rare, firstly, is because it was released nearly 1 year after the launch of Battlefield 1, with many players not playing the game anymore and not collecting it. But secondly, there was no in-game tracker at the time to make sure you'd completed the 3 tasks that you needed. This meant many players thought they were going to be getting it, but they ended up not getting it. Taking up spot number 5, the second of these 3 melee weapons here, we have the Coop. Now, this is a very recent addition to the game, but you'll still find many players missing it from their inventory, including myself. This weapon was the reward for the particularly grindy assignment of getting 300 kills with shotguns over a 4-day period. I didn't leave myself enough time to complete it, and many other people didn't either, and therefore it's one of the few weapons I don't currently have access to in Battlefield 1. I believe more missions like this will be appearing in the near future, so it looks like rare melee weapons are on the rise here. At number 4, and the last of these 3 melee weapons, we have the Barbed Wire bat. arguably the rarest of all the melee weapons to be included in Battlefield 1. And depending on which platform you play on, you might find that this weapon almost doesn't exist there. This weapon was locked into an exclusive hardware deal with Logitech, where if you bought any of their Battlefield 1 branded gear at the launch of the game, you'd also get a code for this melee weapon that you could then activate in-game. There was also a giveaway of 5,000 of these barbed wire bats at the same time, but as you can imagine, those went pretty fast. With nearly 25 million people buying a copy of Battlefield 1 at this point, and only 5,000 being handed out publicly alongside any purchases of that Logitech gear, the number of people who possess this weapon is extremely low, and on the consoles, where Logitech doesn't actually produce any hardware at all, this weapon will be almost impossible to come across. This barbed wire bat is one of 2 weapons in this list actually that has a timed exclusivity clause on it, both of which for both weapons have now run out. So there is an option that both of those weapons will come to the game for everybody at some point, but so far we haven't heard anything and it remains locked to the people who have it. And now into the top 3 rarest weapons in Battlefield 1. Taking spot number 3, we have the Doughboy M1911 pistol, and in fact, this is the only weapon in the top 3 that can now be used by any public player of the game, provided you pick it up off somebody who has it unlocked. The Doughboy M1911 is a weapon that was only given to players who purchased the Collector's Edition of Battlefield 1. You know, that version that had the statue of Eddie Murphy in it. In the box was a model tube that would have been carried by messenger pigeons in World War I that would obviously contain information that was important to the person it was going to, and inside that is a slip of paper containing your unlock code. A very cool move by DICE there. The Doughboy M1911 has a much brighter metal finish than the standard M1911, and it has an ivory handle cover, and if you combine that with the BAR's Doughboy Legendary skin, you can be a true American soldier from 1918. Moving from number 3 to number 2, and taking that number 2 spot, just narrowly missing out on being the rarest weapon in Battlefield 1, we have the Haldor Pistol Sweeper. This is different to the standard Haldor pistol available to the Assault class. At this point in time, it is currently unattainable to any player in Battlefield 1, and it appears to be a secret, developer-only weapon. But there is a trick you can use to get your hands on it and give it a go if you want to. If you have access to the Battlefield 1 CTE, you will know that certain barriers are removed in the name of testing things. The developer-only barrier has been removed there as well, and the Haldor Pistol Sweeper here is unlocked for anyone to use, and you will notice a slight difference about it. The Sweeper swaps out its standard rounds for mini shotgun shells, making this Battlefield 1's only shotgun sidearm. The weapon actually appeared in some pre-release gameplay for Battlefield 1, people noticed it was different to the normal one, and it kind of had a high profile at the start of the game, and then very much died down. And that's why it's number 2, because number 1 never had that problem. And so then, the rarest weapon in Battlefield 1, I give you the C96 Export. The reason this takes number 1 is because no one knew about this weapon until after the launch, when it was picked up off a dead developer's body during a multiplayer match. This one was a closely guarded secret, it seems. The C96 Export breaks the medic barrier of its standard brother, becomes available for all classes, and it adds a touch more damage per shot. But you'd hardly notice the difference unless the words actually pop up at the bottom for you and say C96 Export when you kill somebody. I use this weapon quite often now in the Battlefield 1 CTE. It's a good weapon overall as a backup, but as far as I know, this one will never see the light of day here in the vanilla game unless you are a developer of Battlefield 1. Developer weapons don't get released all that often, and I don't expect this one will either. And so, there you are, the top 10 rarest weapons in Battlefield 1. Let me know down below how many of them you've used or have come across during your time in the game. I'm betting very few of you have actually used all of them yourself. Even I haven't used them all. But thank you very much for watching, and until next time, my name is Westie, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.